everyone, it's Clyde at Vibrant Soap. Have you ever found a fragrance that you really like, but then you find out that it changes the soap to a dark brown when it cures? Well, this is such a fragrance. It's called Frosted Winterberry, and I've been holding on to this fragrance for a long time because you know I like my bright colors. Well, I'm going to be talking about two different things. One thing is separating the batter and only fragrancing the part of the batter that you don't mind turning a little dark, and then leaving the lighter portions unfragranced. And the other part of this equation that I'm going to be talking about today is it's always a possibility that the fragrance part that will turn brown may eventually seep into the lighter colors as well. I'm going to call that color migration. So this is what I did to alleviate that problem. And if you want to see more about what I did, you can see the color tutorial and that little eye up there. But I think if you hold out for the rest of the video, you're going to find out what I did anyway. So whatever you want to do, let's get started right away. Okay, I'm ready to blend the oils, clay and milk, coconut milk. And this recipe has avocado oil. I'm going to blend this really well. It's the hemp oil that gives it this like yellow-green color. And I'm soaping at about 75 degrees. So here goes my lye. Now I feel that if I can get the lye and oils sort of mixed up before I turn on the blender, that I hope the batter to not freeze by over blending as much. I'm using a little bit less of this fragrance called Frosted Winterberry. Been wanting to use this for a long time. And I'm using less because I'm going to leave some of the batter unfragranced because I don't want the whole thing to brown. So I'm going to pour off the part that I don't want to be fragranced first. It's going to be just a thin layer of purple. And that's going to lie on top of the part that is fragranced, because I'm putting a barrier between the soap that should turn a dark brown and the white layer on top, because I have found that browning can migrate into unfragranced areas of the soap, and it makes the snow or the simulated snow of the white part look a little dirty. So I'm going to buffer that with the purple. The purple can turn a little brown without making it look muddy. And so now I'm going to put the fragrance in this part. I'm not going to color this at all because it's going to turn brown all by itself. Before I do anything else, I'm going to get my titanium dioxide in the white part. And I'll blend that later. I also have some melt and pour berries that I've already sprinkled with some glitter, and I'm going to use that on the top. This fragrance is really worth it. I knew it was going to turn brown, but I thought, oh my gosh, that fragrance smells so good that I want to use it. The notes on this say that this kind of resists trace. So I think I'm going to be able to blend it a while, and I want it a little more solid so that I can pour in better layers. If it's watery, soap doesn't really want to layer as well as, like, you know, it wants to settle into itself, and you end up more with like a dropped swirl. It smells so good. And they're right, even though I'm blending this a lot, it doesn't seem to be getting anywhere close to trace yet. I've got time. but I can tell that it is starting to thicken up. I'm not going to blend these until it's their turn. And I don't want to get any of this on the top at all, so I'm just going to pour all of this in. So you can see there's some trace there, but it's still very fluid. So I'm going to wait a little bit before I get my other layers on there. So while we were waiting, I made up a little bit more titanium dioxide because I want that to be a little more white. Let's see, okay, that's firming up. Let me blend the purple. And I want that one somewhat thick also. And I do want this level, but I want it broken up a little bit. So I'm going to just put some little ridges in it. I'm going to go a little bit more lengthwise with these so that it'll be visible from the angle of the cut bars. And such great color. Making sure that my tools are free of that bottom batter, because it's tempting to just use the same tools like you do in normal soaping, but you've got to remember that that batter down below is not going to stay light in color. It's going to turn dark brown. So I don't want to have some brown unnecessarily kind of clouding up the color areas. And again, I don't want this to be totally flat, which is to my benefit because I'd have to work pretty hard to get it nice and flat. I want to put some little furrows in this one like I did the other layer. It just makes a nice design once you see the cross section of the cut. And blend the white. And that's plenty white now. I'll use a different spatula, again not to get anything in the white that I don't want. Just going to put a little bit of this first because I want to maintain that little ridge in the middle, and as I think about it, it's going to be very hard to do what I want to do, so I'll explain that once I get there. I'll get all this white in. I could have actually had less white than this for my idea, but I went overboard a little. Can't really do much about that now. But you know what we've been saying all along about little mistakes here and there. Sometimes it works to your advantage in the long run. I'm going to have to texture this first before I set in the embeds, because once the embeds are in there, I really can't do that. So good consistency right now. Okay, so let me wait a little bit. I'm going to do some cleanup while I wait. Okay, so you can see I've marked my mold for where the cuts are going to be. And here are my little berries. And I'm going to have to put them in at an angle because they're about as wide as the soap is. So I'm going to put it in at a little angle. And I'm going to push them until they start to get surrounded with that white. can see that I'm alternating the direction that these berries are placed so I can get them a little closer to each other. Okay, so they're all in, and I think I can do a little bit of texturing on the side. Which is good because I can just get that layer down below to show up that purple, at least on one side. Okay, and lastly, some glitter. This is definitely a holiday winter soap, and so I'm way ahead of time on this one. But while I have the idea, I want to make it, and I'll cure it, and I'll shrink wrap it. And it's a nice thing to do. If you have humid weather, the soaps can still sweat. So I want to show you this. I just got it out of the mold, and you can see that the fragrance already yellowed the batter. And the description of Frosted Winterberry from Rustic Escentuals is that it can discolor the soap from mildly, or it can go completely dark. It hasn't had enough time to turn to its dark chocolate color yet, but I took that into account when I made the soap. So if it does turn completely dark, I'm okay with it. This is a nice color right now, but I want to tell you that if you ever use a fragrance that browns the soap and you want to put white or something light on top of it, you might consider making a little barrier of another color, and that'll become a part of the design, because the color that the batter morphs to can migrate to the other adjacent soap. So you probably won't like it when you see the white top, if that's what you do, start to turn brown from the bottom. It gives it kind of like snow on dirt or something like that, which can be part of a design too. But for this one, I want it to be kind of clean and crisp, because this fragrance is just so amazing. So we'll keep an eye on this after it starts to cure to see how well this little buffer of purple works out. And so it really looks good with the design too, I think. And it smells so good. I tend to shy away from fragrances that do brown, except for in cases like a coffee scent or a chocolate scent, where the design is going to be brown anyway. So but when it's a fragrance that you really want to look light in color, then that's a different story. So there's, looks like a little berry peeking through there. So you remember when I made this, before I poured the levels, you saw me add some furrows to the top of the soap to kind of make a irregular line for where the soap is, so that it's not just a straight across look. Though I like that look too, but this is what I wanted for this soap. So try to imagine this turning darker brown. I'll try to zoom in on this, but you can see that there's a little edge of a darker brown starting to form right there. As it's more, close to the edge, it's got more oxygen that's oxidizing it. A little bit more of that brown showing up. This one's really peeking through. Clean that up so that there's no white interfering with that little peekaboo going on there. You know, sometimes you've seen in my past videos that I'm okay if the titanium dioxide amount that I use doesn't turn the soap absolutely bright white. But this is one of the cases where I really did want it bright, so I made sure I added enough to make it that nice snow white color. And this was also a case for glitter, mainly because of the name, Frosted Winterberry. And that is a melt and pour embed, as you saw in the making of. So you can see marking my mold and the placement of the berries really did work out well. The berry is... Thanks again for watching, and I do appreciate the subscriptions and comments. Been given a run for the money keeping up with the comments, but if you look below, I do try to respond to everybody. I figure if you're going to give me your time, I'm going to give you some of mine back. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do that, but I'm going to do that as long as I can. I've got other projects going on the side. Decided to tap into my other creative projects, and I try to show you some of those. There's the other end pieces. But for now, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning into my Instagram too. That's really been growing rapidly. And we will see you on the next video real soon. Okay, bye everybody.